What is up, my little dingleberry bushels? It's your boy, High and Mighty, here to do yet another Hearthstone guide for you guys. So it is a beautiful Sunday afternoon right now. It is a little bit after 2. To be honest with you guys, I was wearing a robe all day, and I just put on some clothes so I could record this video. I'm actually not even wearing pants. Woo! That's right. Alright, that's a little secret. In case you guys didn't know, streamers don't wear pants. Anyway, so what we're going to do today is look at some arena stuff. Yay, okay, awesome. Arena, the arena. So when you're starting out in the game, a lot of times players will spam arena to try to get more packs and to draw those juicy legendaries. Unfortunately, arena is a cold, brutal world where you will get fucked and left for dead. So, I am here to stop the fucking and the leaving for the dead. Unless you are the person that is. I'm here to make you the fucker of them. So, yes. Let's move on. So first thing we're going to talk about is flat points in stats. And this is actually the most important part. Sorry, I'm getting a little background noise. I'm going to close the window here. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is flat point stat system. This is something that I kind of have, not, invented, but it's just the way I have it looking at the cards. So what you do is you look at a card. Let's take any card. Let's just look at a Bloodsail Corsair or Bloodsail Raider. Okay, you spend 2 mana, right, and you get 5 points in stats. So 3 health plus 2 attack. That's 5 points in stats. The basic minimum of every card that you draft, you want to try to draft it more than double in points what its cost is. So Bloodsail Raider is a card you could draft because it is for 2 mana, you get more than 4 points in stats. So let's let's look onward at other things. Okay, let's talk about this card right here. Harvest Golem is actually a great card in Arena. For 3 mana, you start off getting 1 point less in ideal stats, but its Death Rattle gives you a 2/1, which puts you 3 more points in stats, which puts you well above what you should be paying for a 3-drop. So this is a strong card. Cards like Chillwind Yeti. Let's see if we can find that bad boy. Spider Tank's another good one too, because you're getting, and it's good that it's got cards that are built like Spider Tank are going to always be better than cards that are built as a 4/3. Like, let's see if I can get an example. So let's see if we can find a 3 mana 4/3. I know there's one. It's a Silence a Demon card or something like that. Anywho, okay. So let's say you spend 3 mana, you get a 3/4. Okay, this 3/4 can kill a Shattered Sun Cleric and live. It can kill, a Silverhand Regent and live. It can kill, Tauren Warriors. It can kill all these cards, right? And it lives. Whereas if you play something that's a 4/3, it's going to die to this. It's going to die to a Wolf Rider. It's going to die to the Silverhand Regent. It's going to die to the Shattered Sun. So what you always want to do is try to look for cards that have 1 extra point or 2 extra points in health than in attack. So this point is more important, but both are important. So that's what makes cards like Chillwind Yeti so good. So for 4 mana, you'd usually want about 8 points in stats. This guy gives you 9, and there's 1 extra in health. So it's always good to draft a card like Chillwind Yeti. So that's the flat, that's going to be the flat point system that you are going to kind of adhere to your cards. And you're generally going to demand that the card produces double in stats what it has for its mana cost. That's something you want to be looking for. Now there are some cards that have an insane, like there are exceptions. Like let's look at where's Haunted Creeper? Let's find him. Okay, so for 2 mana you only get 3 points in stats right off the bat, but his Death Rattle gives you 2 more 1/1s, which in the end gives you an extra 4 points in stats. So that gives you 7 points in stats for 2 mana. So that's what makes Haunted Creeper such a great card. Same with Dr. Boom. Dr. Boom isn't so amazing because he's a 7/7 for 7 mana. He's amazing because he gets the 1/1 Boombots that can deal 1 to 4 damage. So in theory, if you play Dr. Boom, so for 7 mana you get 14 points in stats off the bat. Then you get 2 1/1 Boombots. Okay, so that brings you up to 18. And then let's say each of those Boombots explode for 4. That gives you an extra 8 damage. So that brings you from 18 to 26. So for 7 mana, you got a ridiculous amount of damage if it's insanely if it reaches its optimal value. So one thing you want to look at is curve. You want to have a curve that goes kind of like the one side of a house. So it wants to go down like this. You want to have a couple of 1-drops, and then you want to have a lot of 2-drops. A pretty good amount of 3-drops, a pretty good amount of 4-drops, and then a couple of 5s, 6s, and 7s. The reason that you don't draft all big-ass minions is because a lot of time Arena is based off tempo, and having multiple minions, it's much stronger to play 2 4-drops generally in Arena than it is to play 1 8-drop. Because you can choose where your damage goes, and it gives you more options. So what you want to do is take a lot of 2s and 3-drops, a couple of 1-drops. So make sure your curve kind of looks like this, generally speaking. Another thing you want to look at when you're drafting cards is their battle cry and their death rattle. Some battle cries are good. Some death rattles are good. Some battle cries are bad. Some death rattles are bad. Like, for example, like a Zombie Chow, that's a pretty rough death rattle. Restore 5 health to the enemy hero. But for 1 mana, you get 5 points in stats, which is, like, by our standards, more ridiculous. Now, granted, generally for 1-drops, you'll find, that they'll have at least 3 points in stats, like the Worgen, the Voodoo, the Taker, all these things. But the Zombie Chow is pretty unparalleled for 1 mana in just base stats. So that's what the Death Rattle kind of sets off. That's why you can't just say, always draft Death Rattle cards because they're great. That's not necessarily true. You can't really even give yourself extra points on the card for their Death Rattle unless that Death Rattle is summoning another minion. Because a lot of times they have to silence in order to remove that, and it baits a reaction from your opponent, so it's good from you even if you don't get the Death Rattle off. Like if you have the Harvest Golem and they silence it, it's not that bad because that's one less silence you have to worry about. Or now if you have something in your hand you were worried about getting silenced, you can play that instead. So what is next? What should we talk about? The last thing you should look at is synergy. It is the least important part of Arena. And it's the least important point of Arena because you have 30 cards. If you're lucky, 5 or 6 of those cards are going to have synergy together, right? And your odds of finding all of those cards together in the same run, in the same optimal scenario, is incredibly unlikely. So a lot of times people will try to draft an Arena deck with a bunch of synergy, and they'll end up going like 1 and 3 or 2 and 3, and they're like, what happened to me? Why, I had all these cards that work so well together. If you don't draw them together, it doesn't matter. So it's more important to play smaller minions to get bored. It's more important, in a lot of situations, it's even better to play 2 2-drops than 1 4-drop because it gives you more board control. You can choose what you do with your damage. Synergy. Focusing on synergy and drafting big minions, I think, are the biggest downfalls of people drafting Arena decks. So that's basically where I'm at. We'll do a quick draft together just so you guys can kind of see. As you see, we've got, I think, enough gold to party. Yeah. So Rogue is the strongest in Arena right now. I guess we'll talk about classes too, real quick. So we'll talk about classes before we pick. So the strongest classes, in my opinion, right now in Arena are, and this is just now, in this point in time, things could change. I don't know. But at this point in time, I think Rogue is the strongest. And then I think Paladin and Mage are also very strong. And then Druid, maybe Druid and Warlock. Shaman, Priest, and Warrior, I think, are kind of at the back end. Shaman, I actually really like Shaman in Arena. I've had the first 12-0 run I ever did was with Shaman. I've had the most 12-win runs with Shaman, but it's just not like starting off the game in Arena with Total Golem is nice, but it's not necessarily just going to win you the game. And there's not a lot of other common cards. What makes Paladin and Rogue so strong is that their common cards are like pretty ridiculous. That you get great value, so you're likely to pull these cards that you're going to get strong value off of. So that being said, let's go make our draft. I guess we'll take Rogue since Rogue is the best according to me. Ew. Okay. So you don't look at Molten Giant as 20 mana because nobody ever plays 20 mana for him. Worst case scenario, you're playing like 8 for him and you get 8/8 out of it, so it's pretty solid. Hero gives this weapon +1 attack instead of replacing it. It's okay, but the problem is that it's only got 3 charge and it's 4 mana, which is really expensive. After you cast a spell on a friendly minion, cast it on this one. This is a synergy card. I wouldn't pick this card unless I was like super late in the draft and I had a bunch of Cold Bloods and Tinker Oils or something like that. Actually, I don't think this even procs Tinker Oil, so it's, I don't know about that actually. But either way, picking this based off synergy would be a mistake. What we want is a big body that we can get out there for pretty cheap. If we're getting our butt kicked, we can maybe throw him out and taunt him in order to save ourselves from just getting stomped out of the game. So we'll take the Giant. Dragons, we're not really looking for dragons, so this card kind of gets thrown out the window immediately. Priestess is okay for heal, although it's significantly lower than the points and flat stats we're looking for. That being said, I think I'm going to take the Direwolf Alpha. It gives us what we're looking for, and it gives us additional value with its ability. Whereas this is kind of a one-shot 6 mana heal for 4, and I would rather play a 5 mana 3/3 heal bot for 8. So we'll take the dog. Next, this is actually a pretty hard choice. Sap for tempo is pretty amazing. Stormwind Champion is really actually strong in Arena, but it's better with classes like Shaman, Paladin, things that are creating these little minions no matter what. You can find synergy. Hungry Dragon is good, but it's scary at the same time as well. If their board is much better than yours and you don't have a very good opening draw, getting a Hungry Dragon is like it just doesn't really do anything for you. So we'll take Sap here. This is okay. 5 mana, 5/5 stealth. These other two, this is actually pretty good. And we still haven't grabbed a 1-drop yet. It also pairs well with the Direwolf. And I don't really want to commit to this as a 5-drop. I'd rather look for things like Shadowpan Rider. So we'll take the Squire here. All right, next. All of these cards are relatively decent. Worgen's pretty good in Arena. It forces your opponent to deal with it, and if they don't, you really can punish them strongly for it. He can often trade 2 for 1, trade up. Same with Fen Creeper. Even though Fen Creeper is under what we're looking for in stats, he's only under it by 1, and he in exchange has taunt, and he has a bunch of health. So he can usually get some really nasty work off on the board. But again, I think taking just a early base minion is good. This is actually a pretty hard choice. If we're going off just our system alone, we're taking the Worgen. But this taunt ability is pretty good. I think we'll take the Worgen though. Okay, so this is a synergy card. We aren't even really sitting on any mechs, and we're not going to draft just to hope to mech, so that's a blank. This is also a blank, so that means this is going to be our pick. And it's actually a pretty decent card, so we'll take it. I'd say maybe one more 1-drop and we're good. Shadow Step is an okay spell, but it's hard to find great value on it. Silverhand Knight's a strong card in Arena. It doesn't get for 8 mana, or for 5 mana you get 8 points in flat stats, but its Battle Cry gives you an extra 4. So it's actually like you're spending 5 to get 12. So that's actually a really good card. However, Piloted Shredder, you can't really pass a Piloted Shredder. It's 7 points in flat stats, and it summons a 2-drop. That's probably going to be a minimum of 4 points in flat stats. So you're looking at 11 points for 4 mana. So it's just better. And it can go even stronger than that. This is a bad pick. Magma Rager we can't even consider because of the health. It just makes it bad. There's no two ways around it. The health just makes it a bad card. It can get shivved, it can get hero powered, it can get pinged, it can get fucked in Left 4 Dead, and we don't want to roll like that. This is okay, but you have to have board control. Like, this isn't very good. This isn't very good either. These are both pretty bad cards. Neither of them are up to snuff with the points that we're looking for, and we don't really give a shit about Wind Fury on a 1 attack, so I guess we're forced into taking the Sentinel. What's nice about the Sentinel is there is a possibility of synergy. Like, if we play a Shredder and then we play this, odds are that we might be able to get something off of the Sentinel, so South Sea Deckhand is probably going to be our last pick, but so we look here, we get just 6 points plus a 2/1, so that puts us up to 8/9. So we just get 1 extra, but the Dragonling only has 1 health, and for a 4-drop to get a 2/4, we don't really like that. This is okay. It's under what we want, but because it has Stealth and Divine Shield, a lot of times you can imagine that Divine Shield will either trade. Divine Shield either effectively doubles the stats of the minion, or it takes away 2 mana from your opponent because they have to ping it or do something with their hero power or shiv it in order to remove it. So it is more value than a normal 3 mana 2/2, but we'll go Deckhand because it's very nice in this deck. Okay. Tough decisions. So let's break it down. Okay. For 6 mana, we get 8 points in stats, which is pretty shit. But if we do it as an 8 mana card that summons a Kodo when you play it, we pretend it's we just follow me now. We pretend it's an 8 mana card, so we get 16 points in flat stats because we get 3/5 here, then 3/5 from the Kodo for 8 mana. So that is actually, it's precisely up to snuff, and it forces them to remove it. So it's actually a pretty good 6-drop. Big Game Hunter he's not up to snuff in stats, but if you look at his Battle Cry, there's no question in your mind whether or not that's an amazing card. The problem is in Arena, we don't really lose games a lot by having a giant minion that we can't deal with. So I think almost, and the Recruiter, he's 5 mana for a 5/4, and you add the 2/2 to your hand, which is meh. Then we go Kodo Rider here over the Big Game Hunter. Just because we care more about playing minions and growing our board than we care about dealing with our opponent's board right now. Scarab's a pretty good card because it gives you, it essentially makes sure. Okay, how can I explain this properly? So it's under the point value by 2, but what it does is make sure that you curve out, which is the second most important thing, and it gives you value because it gives you an extra card that wasn't even in your deck. Sometimes it could be great for reactions, etc., etc. So you can play it for situation. It gives you pretty bad tempo early game, but it's still a good card. Dread Corsair is good, and in Rogue it's even better. It would be, even the best in Warrior, obviously. Grizzly's not really an option, so we take the Scarab. Again, we want to be drafting more 2s and 3s. This is very important. So we want our curve to be, we're not looking for 7s and 6s so much anymore. Backstab is nice. Undercity Valiant is okay. Earthen Ring is pretty good. I think Backstab is better because it gives you so much tempo on the board. And tempo on the board is how you win games. So we'll go Backstab. Alright. Next things next. We'll probably go Defias just because comboing him out is pretty gross. These other 2s are just blanks. They're not. Main of the Lake isn't really doing anything for us because our hero power lasts 2 turns, so we won't probably be hero powering every turn. Gang Up doesn't you know, like it situationally, Ganga can be really good. This just can give us a lot of tempo. Like turn 2, we can backstab and then Defias. We can coin Defias. We can play Defias in tandem with any of these 1-drops and get it to combo. So, you know, essentially for 2 mana, we're getting 4 plus 6 plus 7. So that's pretty good. We'll take Defias. Shredder, again, this is a non-option. This is also a very bad 1-drop, so we'll take the Shredder all day. Don't even need to think about it. Micro Machine is okay because it can keep growing, but his health doesn't keep growing, so that's a problem. Gang Up, again, is kind of a situational. Venture Co is a strong 5-drop. He's a big body. Here's what's cool about Venture Co. He is the quintessential reason of the stat system being important. In Arena, Venture Co is a great card. Why is Venture Co a great card? Well, it's because he gives you 13 points in the stats for 5 mana. That's 3 extra points than what we would normally be looking for. Now, sure, our minions cost 3 more, but when he's out, he's going to be doing such good work for us, it generally doesn't matter. As long as we're not playing against Paladin, we have no fear to drop Venture Co. Okay. Deadly Poison's a good card. Surahan Regent is also pretty good. But playing it as a 5-drop is generally, when you look at Inspire minions, you consider playing them as a 5-drop, because if the Inspire mechanism is good enough to be played, then you need to get it off when you play the card in order to draft that card at all. Like that's why we took the Kodo Rider. That's an 8-drop. Unless it's desperate situation, that is an 8-drop, you know. So we'll take the Deadly Poison. It gives us cheap removal early game, and it helps us get this nice curve that we're looking for. These are pretty bad. The Ironforge fits really nicely into our curve, although he's subpar. Unfortunately, all of these cards are pretty subpar. Salty Dog has good stats on paper. However, the 4 health and the 7 attack, it makes him trade down to things like Piloted Shredder, and you don't really want that to happen. If it was a 4/7, Salty Dog would be a great card, and I would pick it here every time, but unfortunately we have to take the shitty Rifleman. We just have to. Okay, I guess we'll Bone Guard Lieutenant here, because this Inspire gains health, so we can play it as a 2-drop, and then next turn maybe like Hero Power, do something. Gurabashi's okay, but we're not really looking for 5-drops at the moment. We have 2 4-drops, and we have 2 5-drops. We have a 6-drop. We have a big minion. So almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, basically 1/5 of our deck is already like pretty like relatively good cards. So we'll be seeing these bigger cards, we know, at some point in the game. Boulder Fist Ogre is the guy you take right here. Micro Machine can sometimes just win you games, which is really nice, but I'm not like just gonna YOLO a Micro Machine. I'd rather take the Ogre, because it's like, Ogre's a great card in Arena. Look at those stats. He gives us everything we want. He gives us above his cost double in flat stats, and his attack is slightly less than his health. So that extra point goes to his health, which is exactly where it's supposed to go. So we'll take the Ogre. Violet Teacher's good in this deck. Armored Warhorse is a YOLO, and 3 health is like pretty bad. If it gained Charge and Divine Shield, it would be a pretty good card, and it would be played in like mid-range control-y kind of decks. Wobbling Runts is actually just kind of shit, because it's too much of an investment, and it takes too long to get these runts out, so we take the Teacher here. It gives us what we want in stats, and its ability is great. So, you know, 8 points in stats for 4 mana is great, and then when we cast a spell, that's great too. Deadly Poison is the pick here. These two aren't giving us what we need. They're not really giving us. We already have the 1-drops we like, so Dragonhawk is meh. You know, if we didn't have any of these 1-drops, I would take the Dragonhawk out of, you know, desperation for a 1-drop, maybe, but that's about it. Dark Iron Dwarf is a good card. If you just look at Wolf Rider is not the best card. It can be used as a 3-mana removal spell. However, Dark Iron Dwarf can it's a 4-mana 4/4, and he gives the minion +2 attack. Wolf Rider fits better in our curve, so this is actually a hard pick. Turn 4, I would rather be playing a Shredder or a Teacher for sure. Turn 3, I got to take the Wolf Rider for removal. of a 3-drop or a threat or just to push damage. Sad but true. Goblin Auto Barber's pretty good in Arena. Jeweled Scarab. The Booty Bay is not really worth. If he was a 4/5 taunt, maybe, but we can get. There's a 4-mana 5/4 taunt Evil Heckler, so that's just a better card and it's cheaper. So why would we settle for Booty Bay? We wouldn't. We could take the Scarab because it gives us a better curve, but I think taking the Barber here is actually better because it gives us more board presence. It allows us to deal with our opponent's board and develop a minion by removing it with our weapon. So we'll take the Barber. Kraken is a great card in Arena. It's 9 mana. It's huge. I think we already have too many big guys. 4-drop, 5. We do have too many big guys already, so we'll probably take a second Venture Co. Just because this is... I think it's just too big. We have 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could take one more big drop, but the question is do we want a Venture Co. over North Sea Kraken? And I think that we do. Kraken is undervalued. Its battle cry is what makes it good. So its stats suck, but if you look at its battle cry, it's like an instant. It's like a 9 mana 9/7 battle cry. Kill a minion with 4 health. That's the way I look at it. So even though it's a little lacking in stats, it is still good because of the battle cry. But I think we just take Venture Co. because it's better for our curve. Fan of Knives is good for AoE. We don't have any AoE. We don't have a single piece of AoE, which is really bad. And this is a good curve for our downward-facing roof type situation. Tomb Pillager, again, that's another reason that we didn't pick up the the Dark Iron, is because Tomb Pillager is better. So we'll take the Tomb Pillager. Here I will grab the Kraken because these other two are absolute trash. If Rager was a 2/5 for 3 mana, we would actually consider taking him here. Murloc Tiny Fin is a blank all day, so we take the Kraken. We cannot take the Force Tank Max. We just can't. It's too big. It's too greedy. We want a 2-drop or a 3-drop. Do we have any heal is the question. That is the question, and the answer is no. So we take the Earthen Ring. And so Stormwind Knight's actually really good in Arena. Even though he's undervalued in points by 1, because he has charge and because his health is so big, he can generally trade he can outright kill 2 2-drops, trade for 1 for 2 with 2 2-drops. He can help remove a 3 or a 4-drop or even a 5-drop that's had some damage to him. However, Healbot is the truth right here. We're really looking for 2-drops. We're really not looking for any of these cards. We really wanted a 2-drop that was not this hot piece of shit. So we might actually have to take the Drake and play this as more mid-rangey. Yeah. So we kind of got our download. If you look at this curve, you know, maybe we could have put taken 1 or 2 from these two and put an extra 2-drops right here. But this downward kind of slope, you know, is what we're looking for. So, and then your 1-drop should slope back too. So, you know, we have kind of a weird triangle in this area. So there you go. This is the draft. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope the point system helps you guys out, or you know, can help you find value in your arena runs. Just to be honest with you guys, I probably go about 5 or 6 and 3 on average in arena. It's you know, I'm not a big arena guy. I'm usually playing ladder tournaments, constructed, blah 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 blah. But you know, I've had lots of really strong arena runs, and I think I've learned over time to just have a system that, like, I can generally, if I pair my arena runs with my daily challenges, I'm never going to lose gold, and I'm always going to get packs because of how much I played the game and how much I've developed myself personally as a player. So anyway, that being said, if you guys want to see that arena run that I just drafted, hit the thumbs up button, and if we hit enough, I will do a local recording of this arena run, and I will put it up later. Anyway, if you guys want to see it, smash that like button. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button. If you learned something, give me that thumbs up. Make sure to follow the channel for more tutorials. If you guys have any questions or you have any, you need help or anything at all, just post it in the comments. I respond to pretty much all the comments that I can. So, also be on the lookout. I am going to be casting Hearthstone at Gamers for Giving. I'm going to be getting rotated in and doing some casting at Gamers for Giving. So be on the lookout to see me casting alongside some great personalities. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I enjoyed myself. I hope you have a great day. And until next time, we'll see you later.